So now we are starting a new canto. We had done the kingdoms of little life. Now we are going to see the inhabitants of this little life, of this kingdom. Godheads of the little life. Godheads mean groups of gods, small deities, groups of gods. Now, whether they are really gods or not, we don't know, but they are having some kind of typal powers, fixed characters, fixed nature of doing certain things, and certain powers also they have got, you see. In that sense, they are gods, you see. Otherwise, not the gods in which we understand generally the word God, you see. It is not that. You see, we may say in Sanskrit something like Deva Gana. Gana means group of gods. Deva, God. Gana, group of gods like that, a small god. So these are now the godheads, the Devagana, or the lower vital nature. This is what we are going to see here. Very mischievous, very hostile also. The joy of these gods is to create purposeful mystery, joy, you see. I mean, they will create kind of situations which will be very complex for us, you see, like that, you see. They enjoy that sort of a thing, you see. God. At the same time, there are some who are, in a certain sense, up to a certain point, help you also. They will deceive you, they will give you bribe, they will prod you to do certain things and attract you to them like that, you see. That is what they do like that, you see. You are playing, for instance, a gambling game. So, in the gambling, you are first promoted in such a way that you start winning, and then you get trapped. And then finally they will pounce upon you and destroy you completely, you see. So this is the kind of a mischief they play. They will play all kind of tricks like that, you see. Now, this is the thing which in a way was not anticipated when life entered into matter. There was a call from material objects for life to enter into the material objects and awake the gods which are asleep in matter. Life entered in. But that, as a result of that, something else will happen that was not kind of anticipated. It was not anticipated. Well, we don't know. Had it been anticipated, would still life have entered into matter? Would still she would have taken any precaution that such a thing does not happen? She enters into matter, but then these things don't happen. Did she think that she had to take some kind of a precaution by entering into matter? None of those calculations came in her mind. None of her came. She simply plunged as a spirit of adventure, brava. She just plunged. She doesn't bother about look before you leap. You simply leap and then meet the consequences of that. You don't know swimming and you jump into water and then you start struggling in water, you see. That kind of a thing, you see. Now, in a way, that kind of a procedure is essential, necessary. Don't anticipate and take precautions. See the kind of surprises which can spring up from the inconscience. Every possibility of inconscience throwing something out has to be met and conquered, dealt with. Every possibility, something is springing up, well, you have to meet, you have to face it, and then take precaution, then work out things that those things disappear. That is the only way by which all the potentialities of matter can emerge. If you start taking precaution, it means that you are sort of imposing your own will in the whole process, which is not there. So, I will not say that anticipation. Anticipation is not really a very good thing. That she didn't anticipate is a good thing should happen. She simply threw herself into that thing. The spirit of life simply threw herself into. So, that is the nature of life, and it is good it has happened. Now this canto, I have already sent you the statistics of this canto, all the details of this one, but it has 29 sentences, 43, canto number, section number 43, 29 sentences, 114 lines and 871 words. 871 words. It's a relatively short canto, it's a short section, you see, this one. 43, we are talking about 43, you see. But the whole canto, canto 5, this one, has 174 sentences, 772 lines, 5,774 words. 5,774. It's a big canto that way. 772 lines, you see. Now, other things arise there. There are in all 6 sections. In this canto, there are in all 6 sections, you see. Now, these cantos, I mean, they have got 700 lines, 800 lines, 900 lines, 1,000 lines like that, you see. Each canto has 1,000 lines. Now, just for the sake of comparison, so to say, if you take Milton's Paradise Lost, a mighty poem by itself, Milton's Paradise Lost, it has also 12 books. But each book is roughly running into just about 1,000 lines. Just 1,000 lines, each book, you see. So, in other words, the whole of Milton's Paradise Lost is about 10,000 lines, you see. Now, 1,000 lines of a book, and here the canto itself is having roughly 1,000 lines, you see. So, you can see the magnitude of Savitri, the width of Savitri, you see. It has hardly any comparison in that sense, you see. Because each section is itself is a rich section by itself. Each canto is a book by itself in a way, you see, like that, you see. So, we are now ready to go with the Godheads of the little life. A fixed and narrow power with rigid forms. He saw the empire of the little life, an unhappy corner in eternity. He, of course, stands for Ashapati, you see, because he is exploring. So, now, you see, this exploration of Ashapati, the book of the Travel of the Worlds, the Travel of the Worlds can be seen in 2 ways, in 2 manners, traveler. He is going from place to place, from province to province, from continent to continent, from country to country. He is traveling like that, you see. He is seeing the world of matter, he is seeing the world of life, he is seeing the world of mind, he is seeing the higher world, like that. He is as if they are fixed worlds, and he is traveling from world to world, like that, you see. As if geographically he is traveling from country to country, you see. That is what the book of the Traveler of the Worlds would mean, in a way. But at the same time, this book of the Traveler of the Worlds is a dynamic journey. It moves in time also. Ashapati is here, Ashapati is here, Ashapati is here now. Now, how things have happened here, how things have happened here, how things have happened here. In other words, he is also tracing the entire course of evolution upon earth. If you go by provinces, by countries, this location, then it would mean it is a cosmic manifestation which he is exploring. But then, when you are looking at it from the point of view of evolution, then the focus is entirely upon the earth. In earth, how these things have evolved. There was nothing, there was only matter. Now life has happened. Now very forms of life are appearing. Now other forms will appear, other planes of consciousness will enter into play here. So it is a kind of a double journey of going from country to country and of traveling in the worlds of consciousness, in the forms of consciousness, Earlier you were saying the material forms. Now he's seeing the material form, he's seeing the life forms, he's seeing the mental forms, vital forms, higher forms, he is seeing. But where? He is seeing those forms where? On earth. The evolution is taking place here on earth, you see. So that way the book of the Traveler of the World has a double meaning, you see, and we have to really understand that thing. That is not only geographically is going from country to country like that, you see. Now I am in Italy, now I am in Paris, now I am in England. It's not like that, or in Germany. It's not like that. He is at the same time traveling the same place through all these planes of forms. A fixed and narrow power with rigid forms, he saw the empire. So this, who is this fixed and narrow power? This little life. This little life. He saw the empire of the little life. An unhappy corner in eternity. Unhappy. Well, obviously, because that is what which should not have happened. Something which is coming in the way of the divine's manifestation here, in the progress of the divine here, and therefore it is unhappy. It is a mischievous world, it is a deceitful world, it will grab whatever is coming out into powers of the spirit, and therefore it is an unhappy corner. Luckily it is a corner, somewhere in the small, in the entire big manifestation, well, there is a small little region. This region of little life is a small little pocket somewhere, so it doesn't matter. But it is there, it is there. It lived upon the margin of the idea. It, that unhappy corner, that little life, that it is unhappy corner or that little life. It lived upon the margin of the idea. There is an idea of the divine to bring out certain forms and forms and forms. So on the margin, on the bank of the idea, margin means bank here. Bank of the river, in the flow, see. It lived upon the margin of the idea, protected by ignorance as in a shell. Well, it is safe because ignorance is guarding it. This little life, this unhappy corner is guarded by ignorance, and therefore it is protected. In other words, margin of the idea has allowed, so to say, that kind of a thing to happen in the field of ignorance. That is the only way by which ignorance can be dealt with, can be met. The challenge of inconscience can be met fully. Well, inconscience is going to show all those things, and you have to meet a challenge, you see. Then, hoping to learn the secret of this world, hoping to learn, who? Ashwapati, of course, to learn the secret of this world. He peered across the scanty fringe of sight to disengage from its surface clear obscurity. The force that moved it and the idea that made imposing smallness of the infinite. He peered across scanty fringe of sight, small little wing, to disengage from its surface clear obscurity, its sight, fringe of sight. The force that moved it, that little life, that moved it, and the idea that made, see, there is some force which is really making it here, therefore it is happening here. To disengage from the surface clear obscurity, he wants to see why it has happened, what is the force which is working here, what is working here, see, that moved it, and the idea that made imposing smallness on the infinite, you see. Infinite is getting imposed by smallness. This little corner, to begin with. In a way, that is the process of multiplication and of developing individualities. Limiting. See, world life is there in her own domain. She is vast, she is endless, everywhere, same, so to say, whatever character here. But when you are now coming here in a small world, in the world of ignorance, you are becoming small individuals. Now, it is the formation of the individual which is the embryonic beginning of the formation of multiplicity. It is a seed on which the multiplicity will grow. See, if there is a vastness, you have a big ocean, well, it's all right, but you want small little ponds, you want little small lakes, you want small reservoirs of water like that, so that each reservoir of each water can express its own quality, its own nature, its own character, you see. It is that. Otherwise, see everywhere, you see. So, if you go to a lake, you see, I mean, really one lake has a different nature, different character, different ambience than another lake. The ponds has their own personality. And to build up the personality of each individual, this limiting factor is important. Otherwise, in the whole big ocean, it is the same stretch of water everywhere. But you want now individuals to come out, to emerge, you see. You have to have rivers, you have to have ponds, you have to streams. Each one has to have its own expression of things, you see, like that. Therefore, imposing that more the idea that man imposes smallness on the infinite. The infinite is of course infinite, but how does the infinite become small? How does the infinite become first countless? Infinite has to become countless. Unless you produce counts, it cannot become countless. And a count is to provide it individual. So the process of multiplication is what is kind of beginning with this character. The ignorance is playing that role. You are limiting here, because ultimately that limited stuff should express its own personality, its own individuality. The countless has to become many counts. The infinite has to become first countless, and the countless has to become counts. Count, you see. Then only the individuality starts coming here. So if we can say that the process of multiplication really begins with this process at this stage itself, you see. In that sense, death is playing a very good role, important role. That life which is unbroken continuity, it is breaking life into segments. That is a great contribution. The infinite is giving now different shapes and forms, you see. The ruling spirit of his littleness, the divine law that gave it right to be, its claim on nature and its need in time. That is its need in time. That is how the time will progress. That is how the time will advance. That is how the individualities will make manifestation of the divine in its own character here, you see.